Hey, howdy, hey. So last night I watched 28 Years Later, and I'm gonna spoil the shit out of it because a lot of folks are saying they don't like it, and the thing is, this movie is not the third film in a trilogy. 28 Days and 28 Weeks, they're a duology, and 28 Years Later, it's movie one in a trilogy. Like, it's been 28 years, and in real life, it's been 20 something years since the first two movies. So it makes sense for the writer and director to just move on. Like, we don't need to see what happened to those characters, at least not right now. And anyway, I took notes. Yay. I'm gonna go by characters, okay? I'm gonna spoil this movie by going by characters. So if I had a nickel for every time Aaron Taylor Johnson had to care for a sick wife, I'd have two nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird. It's happened twice because I watched him in Nosferatu, and he too had a sick wife in that film. And in this film, he also has a sick wife. So Aaron Taylor Johnson plays a scavenger named Jamie, and he takes his son to the mainland when he's 12. And apparently, it's tradition to take your son when he's a 14 or 15. But I guess Spike is special. So anyway, Jamie takes Spike to the mainland. They kill some slow infected, and then they meet an alpha, and they get stuck holed up inside the attic of like a farmhouse. And I'm like, is that the same a farmhouse from a 28 weeks later? Probably not. uh Probably not. Anyway, so while they're in there, Spike sees a fire in the distance, and his dad says, that's nothing. Folks on the mainland are weird. So they go back to the island, and while they're walking across the causeway, the Alpha follows them out there, and he is sprinting. Like, they gotta like wade, but this motherfucker is so big that he is not waiting. He's just sprinting. So they make it to the gates, and that's when we have that big scene in the trailer when the a searchlight falls on the Alpha and they're shooting it with arrows. That's not an invasion. That's just one guy, but they kill him immediately, so it's fine. Anyway, they make it inside, and there's this big party there. They're throwing for a Spike, and like Jamie is hopping up his son, like, oh yeah, he killed 10 infected. He was so cool. He didn't miss a shot. By the way, Spike, he missed all his shots because he was scared, and that makes sense. He's freaking 12. But anyway, when they were on the mainland being chased by infected, Spike missed all his shots, but that's fine. His dad, Jamie's a cool dad. So he lies for him and says his son hit all his shots. And during the party, Jamie slips away with a woman, and Spike follows him, and he sees his father cheating on his mom, and that makes him mad. But he doesn't tell his dad he saw him until the next morning. So during the next morning, he confronts dad like, "Hey, dad, I did some talking around the village, and you lied. That fire we saw last night belongs to a doctor." And his dad's like, "Listen, that Dr. Kelson guy, he's nuts. Like, we came across him years ago, and he was just burning bodies. Like, it was just, burning firewood. It was so crazy, son." And like, when he saw us, he like waved at us like, "Hey guys, he look, Dr. Kelson is crazy. Don't go to him." So Jamie gets into an argument with his son. He slaps his son, and that causes Spike to run away with his mom to the mainland to find Dr. Kelson. Stick a pin in that. Now, Jamie has a wife named Isla, and spoiler alert, she has cancer. That's where her mysterious illness is. Like their island, they don't have any technology. It's just straight up Stone Age. Like they make everything by hand. They pull plows by hand, and like they don't have anything. So they don't know what's wrong with her. They just know she's sick, and they can't run all the way to the nearest pharmacy because that's like 20 miles away, and there's infected every step of the way. So anyway, Isla has brain cancer, and that makes her confused and has mood swings, and she forgets what day it is, and she keeps thinking Spike's her dad, and she's going on like a day trip with him, which is how Spike gets her to follow him. Like she's like, "Dad, is that you?" And Spike's like, "Yep, I'm your dad. Come with me to the mainland." And I'm like, "Spike, what's going on?" Like, I get that you're 12 and your brain isn't like fully grown yet, but think about it. Like this kid, he survives his first day on the mainland, and he's like, "Well, I survived one day, therefore I'm like a hardened badass now and can totally survive a many days with a sick mom in tow." Like, okay, so like they're on the mainland, and that's when we meet that's when we meet Edvin Writing's character. By the way, his character is only in the film for like 5 minutes, and he's a prick the entire time. So yeah, he dies quick. We barely get to meet him, and when we do, he's just like a jerk to Spike and his mom. So Spike and his mom are in Flower Field, and that's when we see that Skinny infected. Spike kills it with ease, and they run into like a gas station slash burger place to hide, and the infected follow them inside, and the smoke in the air is actually a gas buildup from the stove or something. So anyway, Spike and his mom are like suffocating. The infected are like suffocating, and like they're just running around in circles trying to not get bit or caught. So like they're all high as fuck on the gas. They can't see anything. It's just a mess. And that's when it has been a writings character whose name is Eric. He opens the top hatch of the restaurant and says, "Get down!" And so they drop down. He shoots some bullets, and the spark ignites the gas, which sets the whole thing on fire. But fortunately, the gas is high in the air, and Spike and his mom are on the ground, so they're just pressed there trying to breathe in the burning flames. So they run outside, and Eric thinks Spike and his mom live on the mainland, and Spike won't refute that because Spike is aware that his whole community is under quarantine, and that this new guy is a soldier, and he's like, "You're kind of an asshole. You're the reason we are trapped in this hell." By the way, according to Eric, the outside world has like cell phones and the internet. So I'm guessing while Britain and the UK were under quarantine, the rest of the world just evolved as a normal. There's Wi-Fi and internet and cell phones with touch screens, and I'm like, okay, cool. I feel like taking a Britain off the map would cause some serious ripple effects in the time stream, but who cares? So anyway, they're trying to go to a doctor, a Kelson Steele, and Isla doesn't want to walk, so Eric carries her for a little bit, and while they're walking, Isla hears screams coming from a rundown train, and flashback a little. The alpha, there's two alphas. The first alpha dies at the gates to their community, but the second one has like a little tribe that he takes care of. Like he hunts a deer for them, and he pulls the deer's head off and mounts it as like a warning. I don't know. So anyway, his community of infected are like playing in a stream, just dabbling and playing in the stream. I'm like, so you figured out how to bathe yourselves? Kinda, not really. I mean, you're still really gross and naked and dirty. Anyway, one of the infected is a heavily pregnant woman, and she wanders off by herself. She climbs into a train, and she starts going through labor pains, and that sound is what Isla hears. So Isla goes into the train, and she finds the pregnant infected trying to give birth, and there's this moment where they communicate a woman to woman. Like there's no words, no long pause. It's just the infected woman acknowledges that Isla is another woman just trying to help her through her childbirth. So they link hands, and the infected woman braces herself on a window, and Isla catches the baby as it slides out. And meanwhile, Eric is just hanging back, freaked the fuck out, because he's only been with these folks for like 2 hours, and they're weird. They're savages to him, and now they're helping an infected woman give birth. Like what? So anyway, the woman gives birth to a daughter, and the daughter is uninfected. So Spike cuts the umbilical cord. He washes it off, and they're like, "It's a girl, and she's uninfected." And Eric's like, "Cute guys, now put the baby down." So they're like, "But she's okay. She's healthy. Please don't." And Eric's like, "No, put it down. Put it down." And while this is going on, the infected woman gets a second wind, and she lunges forward. Eric shoots her dead, and pause it here. I'm thinking to myself, hold on, wait a minute. The infected give birth to uninfected children. Okay, well that explains how they managed to keep going for 28 years. But if the children are uninfected, then wouldn't they attack the children? And that's why she went off alone to give birth. Because if she had given birth around her people, they probably would have ripped her healthy kid to shreds. So she went off alone to give birth, and I'm assuming her plan was to pop the baby out, puke blood on it, and that would make it infected, and then she could go back to her people. Everything's a-okay. And I'm like, okay, that explains why all the infected we see aren't very elderly. Like, most of the ones we see in the film are between the ages of like 20 and 40, which makes sense because they don't wear clothes or have shoes, so they probably die of infection and injury a lot. So no old folks, no invalids. That makes sense. So anyway, they shoot her dead, take her baby, and that's when the Alpha comes because he heard the gunshots. So he comes, he pulls Eric out the train, kills him, and then he jumps down in the train, and he is completely naked. He's just hanging dong. It's just out there in the open. And the film doesn't linger on it, but I do, because, like, oh my gosh, that thing is just out there. Like, you see the whole thing. It's just, like the the penis and the testicles just hanging there. Okay. Alrighty then. Oh, yeah, okay. That's kind of gross. Anyway, so he starts walking towards Isla and Spike. And like, Spike tells his mom to run with the baby. And I'm like, hold on now. That's not your baby. That's his baby. Like, just drop the baby down and let the Alpha have his kid back, right? But I don't know. Plot has to plot. So anyway, the Alpha finds the woman, the infected woman. He picks her up, sees that she's dead, and she did give birth. So he gets even mad. He's like, why I oughta, and so he starts to chase him. And that's when Spike shoots 2 or 3 arrows into him. He didn't even phase. Like, these arrows are going through his body. He's just like, oh, cool, pinpricks. I'm going to rip your head off, kid. And so Spike's running, his mom's running. Nobody puts down the effing baby, which caused the whole mess. So anyway, Spike runs outside. The Alpha follows him, and just as it's almost about to kill him, the doctor appears with a blowgun, and he shoots the Alpha, and that stuns him. And so the Alpha is just standing there emotionless, and that's when a doctor, Kelson, walks up to him, and he's like, "Oh, hi, Samson. Long time no see, yeah." And by the way, Samson is still holding Eric's head in his hand. So the doctor just goes, "Hello there. I'm gonna just take this head from you." Yeah. And then he turns to Spike's mom and says, "Hi guys. I shot him with some morphine. He's gonna stand there for like 2 hours, so I suggest we get walking." And I'm like, okay, so either the doctor is pretending to be nice and he's actually a cannibal serial killer, or he really is that nice. So, spoiler alert, the doctor guy is a real chill guy. He's actually really nice and polite and compassionate. He just has a really risky hobby of burning bodies and turning the bones into a temple. Yeah, everybody has a hobby. Some folks knit, some folks wood carve. He just burns up bodies and turns the skulls into a temple. Yeah, no problem, Woohoo. So he meets Spike and his mom. He takes them to the center of his temple place, and he shows them how he burns the flesh off the bones, the skull of Eric. He burns off the flesh, and then he gives it to Spike and says, "Here, Spike, put it on my temple." And so Spike finds a place for Eric's skull, and he puts it on the temple. Yay. So the doctor goes up to Spike and says, "So, your mom is sick?" And Spike goes, "Yes, sir." And the doctor goes, "So, that's a newborn baby she has there, and she doesn't look like she's the mom." And then Spike goes, "Yeah, the mom was uninfected. She's dead, but her baby is not infected." And then Dr. Kelson goes, "Ah, the miracle of the placenta." And if you don't know what a placenta does, the placenta keeps a woman's immune system from killing the baby she's carrying. I know because every month I make a placenta for a kid I'll never have, and then the placenta gets flushed out of my body during a process called the menstrual flow. Yay, the more you know. Anyway, because of the placenta, the rage virus didn't infect the child in a utero. So the kid comes out healthy. And I'm like, so this entire time, the infected give birth to healthy kids, and all those poor kids were forced to become infected by their moms. That's just terrible. So anyway, the doctor says, "Listen, I don't got no milk or nothing, and that baby needs some food in the next 2 or 3 days. So can y'all leave?" And Spike goes, "Listen, I want you to take a look at my mom. She's sick with something, I don't know what." So the doctor looks at the mom and he's like, "Yeah, she has cancer and it has metastasized, so she's on borrowed time." And the mom's like, "Yeah, I kind of figured I had cancer because she has fits of confusion, but they also have but she also has lucid moments." So during the lucid moment, she goes, "Yeah, I figured I had cancer because I'm always confused. I get mood swings, and there's this pain in my body that hurts so much, and I can't tell anyone about it because, my son is 12. I don't want to burden him with that." So anyway, she agrees to be euthanized by the doctor. Like Spike is like, "No, mom, you can't die. I came all this way. Like, surely there's a medicine I can go and scavenge, right?" And the doctor's like, "Spike, listen, it's cancer. Even before the world fell, we didn't have a good cure for this thing. So I'm sorry, kid, but this is your mom's last legs." And so Isla hugs her son, and the doctor says there are many kinds of death, and some are nicer than others. Instead of dying by the hands of an infected or dying alone in the woods somewhere, your mother would die surrounded by love. Like, remember you will die, but remember you must also love. So while Spike is hugging his mom, the doctor shoots him with a morphine with his blow dart. So Spike calms down because the next part is him euthanizing his mom. So anyway, Spike is like tripping out on a morphine, and it's a beautiful scene because the doctor lights a fire, and the sparks from it make this little swirl pattern because Spike is high on drugs, and it's like like a trippy scene. So while that's going on, the doctor leads Isla away. He shoots her with the darts, so she goes to sleep, and then he kills her. And when Spike becomes sober again, the doctor is giving Spike his mom's skull because he burnt and bleached it in the night. And he's like, "Here, Spike, I want you to find the best place for her." And so Spike climbs the bone temple, and at the top of the temple, he places his mom's skull facing the sunrise, and it's a very sweet scene because movie one is all about Spike's coming of age. Like, he's 12, he's at this weird stage where he wants to be a self-reliant, but he still loves his mother and he's really attached to her. So he has to say goodbye in this really sweet scene. I'm like, oh, he came all He came all this way for nothing. But hey, he got a free baby out of it, and he names the baby Isla after his mom. So he takes the baby back to the island, and he writes a note to his dad saying, "Dear Dad, I'm not coming back to the island, but this baby is named Isla. Her mother is infected, but she's not. Please take care of her. Deuces. I'm a grown man now. I'm cool." So that's the scene where Jamie runs into the water with the note clutching his hand. He's like, "Spike, no!" And then we skip to 28 days later. Spike is chilling on the side of a road. He is trying to roast a fish on a fire, and that's when an infected sees him. And unlike the first time, he hits it just square in the chest because he's not scared anymore. So he killed about 3 or 4 infected. He's running now, and he comes to a landslide on the road, and he can't go any further. So he shoots 2 more, and that's when Jack O'Connell appears. By the way, don't watch this movie for Jack O'Connell because he only appears in the last 30-40 seconds. And when you see him, he's wearing a tracksuit. He's got gold rings on all his fingers, and he has this terrible blonde wig. And I'm like, are you a Targaryen? Because that wig is trash, honey. So anyway, he tells Spike, "Jolly good show. You did a great job killing those infected, but mind if we take over?" And that's when the camera pans out, and we see he has 8 other folks with him, and they're all wearing blonde wigs and these bright track suits. And I'm like, where are y'all finding these track suits in the freaking apocalypse? Why are they so clean? Like, did you have a laundromat, my guy? Anyway, he tells his men to hold, and then now. And then they all start doing parkour flips, and they're like dancing around the infected. And I'm like, oh, I get it. Okay, y'all live on the mainland, so y'all see the infected like I would see a rattlesnake. Yes, it's a dangerous, but if you know how to handle it, it can be quite fun. So they're dancing and flipping around the infected. They kill all of them except for one, and that one they tie it up, put a bag on its head, and hang it upside down. And it's a it's a callback to when Jamie and Spike found the infected in the first act of the film. And I'm guessing this is the part where Jack O'Connell carves his name on the back of it. And he's like, "Hello, Spike. I'm Jimmy." Well, he doesn't know Spike's name yet. He says, "Hi, I'm Jimmy." And Spike goes, "I'm Spike." And he's like, "All right, Spike, want to come join me?" And then Spike shakes his hand, and the film ends there. And I'm like, okay, so movie 2 is going to be a Jamie trying to rescue his son from Jimmy's cult, right? In the movie. So back to the first 4 minutes of the film. It's a cold open. We're in the Scottish Highlands, and Jimmy is put in front of a Teletubby screen with a bunch of other kids, and the kids are downright terrified. One kid is trying not to cry. Another girl is holding her sister, and they're in the Scottish Highlands, right? And remember, the infected started in the south of London, and it spread as fast as the infected can sprint. So I'm assuming it's week 2 of the virus in Britain. So these Scottish folks have spent the past few days watching the infection quickly run north towards them. And instead of barricading the windows, they chose to just find a remote village in the middle of nowhere and just watch TV and just wait for it to blow over. I'm like, come on, guys, barricade your windows, turn off the lights, stockpile food, do something. So anyway, the infected barge into the room with the kids, and thankfully we don't see those poor small children getting torn to pieces. We just see the blood splatter, which is just as bad. Plus, there's screaming and there's wet sounds. But Jimmy, he hides behind the door. He runs out. He runs to the church, and his dad's like, "It's a glorious day of judgment, son. Ha 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 ha." So anyway, son, take my cross. I'm gonna stay here and become infected. So I'm assuming Jimmy, he internalized what his dad did. Like his dad, instead of trying to protect him or fight back, his dad chose the infected over his son, at least in Jimmy's mind, because he's 5, right? So anyway, Jimmy takes his dad's cross, runs away. 28 years later, Jimmy grows up to be Jack O'Connell, and he still has his dad's cross, but the cross hangs upside down from his neck. So he took his dad's lessons and beliefs and he twisted them, which makes a lot of sense. So anyway, Jack O'Connell looks like the Joker, but like a version of him, like a British prick version of him. So anyway, according to the Joker, it just takes one bad day to make someone go crazy, and Jimmy had one bad day 28 years ago, and he never got over it. So in the film, we see the words "Behold, Jimmy." He is coming with the clouds. So I'm guessing Jimmy made a church that mangled his dad's Christian beliefs. I don't know how, but I'm guessing he sees the infected as like a disease, a plague, because there are theories that the cult holds the infected in reverence. That's not true. Jimmy's cult, they play with the infected. Like when they're fighting them, they're like cutting off limbs, pushing them around, just shoving them like they're just straight up bullying these infected before they kill them. So I'm guessing Jimmy has some animosity towards the infected for killing his mom and taking his dad. So he's just going around killing them and making examples of them. I really want to learn more about that, but I don't have much to go off of except his dad gave him a cross, and now he's wearing all this gold jewelry and a tracksuit, and he has stringy blonde hair, and his teeth are fucking terrible. Like, dad me, like, you ain't brushed your teeth for 28 years. I know your mouth stank. Ugh, gross. So anyway, that's the film. Jack O'Connell's in it in the last 20 seconds, so don't go for him. He's barely in it. Edvin writing dies very quickly. The film is very much Spike's story. It is Spike's Bildungsroman. Bildungsroman. Anyway, it's his journey to grow up, and I like it. I like it for what it is, and I like how it didn't feel like a blockbuster. Like there wasn't a bunch of a CGI. There wasn't a lot of like Marvel snarky joke moments, I guess. Like I watch a lot of Marvel films and you always have snarky joke moments, like ha 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 character. But like I liked it. Like I'm a casual fan of 28 Days Later, so I didn't have a lot writing on it. But also I just wanted to see where the writer and director would go. And some folks aren't gonna like it, but some folks are gonna like it. Me, I am intrigued. I love this world because it reminds me of Stand Still, Stay Silent, which takes place many decades past the apocalypse. So as a result, there is no hurry, I guess. Like folks know what's going on. They've made a routine. They're conditioned to the horror of the creatures around them. Like when Spike and Jamie see the infected, they aren't scared. They're just cautious. Like, oh dang it, here come these infected. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, are we gonna run? Or are we gonna fight them? And so they have plans. They have a routine to do when you come across them. You shoot, run 10 yards, turn back, shoot some more, run 10 yards, turn back, and shoot some more. Because the infected run really freaking fast. So you can't outrun them because you have stamina and they don't. So the best you can do is just pick them off as you go. Like pick off the fastest and hope the slower ones, you know, trip or something. Like when we see the infected, they're completely naked. They're covered in like small wounds and scars from being naked and the brush scratching them all the time. I like how they look. Like I like how they look. If that makes sense. But yeah, like I want to see more of this world. I want to see more of the mainland, because we know how the folks on a holy island live. They live practically medieval. It's pretty calm. It's pretty chill. But I want to see more of this mainland, and so does Spike. So does Spike, and I hope Dr. Kelson comes back. I heard he does, but also all the all the adults in Spike's life keep on dying. So I don't know. Don't come back until Spike's 18. Maybe then you have a better chance of living. I don't know. But I like the movie. I give it 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10. I just love to explore post apocalypses where things grow back. It's just pretty. Anyway, I'm gonna stop this in a minute. Let me just. Okay, bye.